Hello everyone. The main objective according to the syllabus for this chapter is to comprehend the importance of water as a source as well as develop awareness toward its judicious use and conservation. Before starting discussion of this chapter, let us first see what are all the things that we are going to cover in this chapter. First is the spread of water on Earth's surface. Then we will move towards understanding of water scarcity, its quantitative and qualitative factors. Then we will see why do we need for water conservation and management. In water management system, we will focus on multi-purpose river projects like dams, their contribution in the development. We will also cover the negative effects of multi-purpose projects with special focus on displacement of local communities and environmental movements. With negative impacts of dam, we will shift our focus to rainwater harvesting with discussion of some regional rainwater harvesting systems. Also, before starting our chapter, let's look towards some difficult terms that we are going to encounter in the coming chapter. Very first is the renewable resources. As we all know, renewable resources are generally resources which can be used repeatedly and replaced naturally, like sunlight, water, about which we will going to study in this chapter. Another term we will come across will be scarcity. Scarcity is generally the limited availability of anything. हिंदी में जैसे बोलते हैं ना कमी, किसी भी चीज की कमी, तो scarcity is कमी. Conservation. In simple term, conservation means not allowing something to be wasted, damaged or destroyed. हिंदी में इसको बोलते हैं संरक्षण. जैसे हम चैप्टर में आगे बढ़ेंगे तो हमें एक टर्म मिलेगा, एक मूवमेंट का नाम है. इसके बारे में एनसीईआरटी में स्पेशली पैराग्राफ भी दिया हुआ है जो हम सबको पढ़ना है, और ये टर्म है नर्मदा बचाओ आंदोलन. Narmada Bachao Andolan is a movement started against the Sardar Sarovar Dam being built across the Narmada River in Gujarat. Local tribal peoples, farmers, environmentalists carried this movement ahead. You must have heard the name Maida Patkar. If not, then read about her. She is the popular figure associated with it. Now MNCs, multinational corporations. These are the corporate organizations which own or control production of goods or services in at least more than one country or nation. That's why the term multinational. अपने आसपास की मार्केट पे आप गौर करेंगे तो आपको बहुत सारे MNCs के एग्जाम्पल देखने को मिल जाएंगे. होम अप्लायंस में जैसे सैमसंग है. सैमसंग कोरिया की कंपनी है, जबकि उसका अब सबसे बड़ा सेटअप नोएडा में लगा हुआ है. तो ऐसे बहुत सारे एग्जांपल एमएनसीज को आपके आसपास देखने को मिल सकता है. चैप्टर के लास्ट में आएगा हमारा रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग. पहले भी बहुत सारे लोगों ने सुना होगा. इन सिंपल terms, rainwater harvesting means collection of water from surfaces on which rain falls and storing this water for later use. In this chapter, we will see some methods of rainwater harvesting practiced in different regions of India. Now let's start our chapter.
Hello everyone, I am Deepak Kumar, TGT Social Sciences from KB number 1 Amritsar Kent. Today we are going to discuss chapter 3 of our geography textbook and the chapter is water resources, जल संसाधन. इससे पहले कि हम चैप्टर शुरू करें, before we begin the chapter, let's see what we know and what we have learned about water in our previous classes.
In class 7, all of you must have read the chapter Water, in which you learned that 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered by water, but only a small portion, nearly 2.7%, is fresh water. Fresh water is mainly obtained from surface runoff and groundwater that is continuously being renewed and recharged through the hydrological cycle. We all know how in water cycle water change its different forms. So water is a renewable resource, right? And there is so much water available on earth. Now why is it predicted that by 2025 nearly 2 billion people will live in absolute water scarcity? In this scenario, it becomes difficult to imagine why there is water scarcity at all. Now, the moment we heard term water scarcity, we associate shortage of water with regions or area having low rainfall or those who are drought prone. पानी की कमी सुनते ही हमारे दिमाग में रेगिस्तान या वो इलाके जहां सूखा पड़ता है उनकी तस्वीर सामने आ जाती है.
To an extent, ये सही भी है. It is true that the availability of water varies over space and time. अलग अलग जगह पे अलग अलग पानी की उपलब्धता है, mainly due to variation in seasonal and annual precipitation, that is rainfall. अलग अलग जगह पे हम देखते हैं कि अलग अलग रूप से या अलग अलग अमाउंट में बारिश होती है, तो वहां पे पानी की अवेलेबिलिटी भी उसी हिसाब से देखी जाती है. लेकिन पानी की कमी के कुछ और भी मेन कारण हैं.
The three main reasons we associate generally with water scarcity are overexploitation, excessive use, and unequal access to water among different social groups. Adding with availability of usable form of water, which is clearly visible in this picture. Water is available in two scenes but not in usable form.
It is very much possible, ये बिल्कुल संभव है, that an area or a region may have the ample amount of water resources but still facing water scarcity. वहां पे प्रॉपर बारिश हो रही है, लेकिन पानी भी उपलब्ध है, लेकिन फिर भी वो पानी की कमी से जूझ रहे हैं. Many of our cities, बहुत सारे हमारे शहर, are example of this only. When water is available, then why there is water scarcity? When we look for answer of this question, we find that water scarcity may be due to growing population of our cities. There is overpopulation and also water is not available equally to all. There is unequal access of water to all sections of the society. You must have read this problem. You must have read about this problem in the chapter public facility in your 8th class.
You all must have remembered this picture from 8th class chapter Public Facilities, where water was available to some while many faced acute water shortage problem.
So we have large number of population. See, when we have large number of people, then we required to we require more food for them, right? When we require more food, it demands that the more and more area to be cultivated, more and more area to be bring under agriculture. So for any crop to survive, we need irrigation, we need water. So when we expand our area of agriculture, we need more water for irrigation. Hence, you have seen that overuse of groundwater, it leads to over exploitation of water resources.
So we need to produce more food, obviously. To produce more food, we need more and more water for irrigation. Hence what? It leads to over exploitation of water resources. Most farmers have their own wells and tube wells in their farms, which ultimately led to over exploitation of groundwater and leading to falling groundwater levels, which can be seen in recent time on very drastic scale.
Apart from agriculture and water for irrigation, we need water for industries too. After independence, we have seen intensive industrialization and urbanization in our country, which have created extra pressure on the fresh water resources. हमने देखा है कि नई नई औद्योगिकरण और शहरीकरण की वजह से पानी के स्रोतों पे एक्स्ट्रा दबाव देखा गया है.
Power is used to run these industries, which comes from hydroelectric projects like dams. In India, hydroelectric powers contributes approximately 22% of total electricity produced. All these factors we discussed as of now were in terms of quantity of water available. Now let us focus to some qualitative factors. Suppose we have sufficient water, but area still suffers from water scarcity. Why? This may be due to bad quality of water available.
The bad quality of water can be because of pollution done by domestic and industrial waste, chemical pesticides, fertilizers used in agriculture, which makes it hazardous for human use. So considering these quantitative and qualitative factors of water scarcity, what do we need to do? The need of the hour is to manage and conserve water resources. This is very important to safeguard ourselves from health hazards, to ensure food security, and to continue our livelihoods. We have many examples of hydraulic structures like dams, reservoirs, and lakes from ancient time. In your NCERT textbook, many such examples can be found. We have continued the tradition of building dams in modern times also.
Dams were traditionally built to impound rivers and rainwater, generally for the irrigation purpose. But today, dams are not just built for irrigation but for many different functions, such as electricity generation, water supply for domestic and industrial use, flood controls, recreation, inland navigation, and fish breeding. Dams are generally termed as multi-purpose projects. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of independent India, proudly proclaimed the dam as temples of modern India due to their multifaceted contribution in the development. Observe this map carefully. You will find it in your NCERT textbooks. Here, you will see the major rivers and dams of India. In the prescribed syllabus from this chapter, we will have map based questions in our board exams. So, we need to pay special attention to the projects being mentioned in the syllabus, which can be asked in the exam for labeling as well as locating. The first one mentioned in the syllabus is Salal Dam, also known as Salal Hydroelectric Power Station. It is a runoff river hydropower project on the Chenab River in the Riyasi district of Jammu and Kashmir. It was actually the first hydropower project built by India in Kashmir under the Indus Water Treaty regime. Next is Bhakra Nagal Dam. It is constructed on Satluj River in Bilaspur, Himachal Pradesh. It forms the Govind Sagar Reservoir. Please remember location of these dams and the river on which they being built. Next is the Tehri Dam. It is the highest dam in India and one of the highest in the world. It is a multi-purpose rock and earth fill embankment dam on Bhagirathi River near Tehri in Uttarakhand, India. Now the Sardar Sarovar Dam. It is built on the Narmada River near Navagam, Gujarat in India. 4 Indian states, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Rajasthan receive water and electric supply from the dam. It is this very dam that stirred the Narmada Bachao Andolan movement. Hirakud Dam. It is built across the Mahanadi River about 15 kilometers from Sambalpur in the state of Odisha in India. Behind the dam extends a lake Hirakud Reservoir which is 55 km long. It is one of the first major multi-purpose river valley projects started after India's independence. The Tungabhadra Dam, also known as Pampa Sagar, is constructed across the Tungabhadra River, a tributary of the Krishna River. The dam is in Hossipeti, Ballari district of Karnataka. It is a multi-purpose dam serving irrigation, electricity generation, flood control, etc. Another dam mentioned in the syllabus is the Rana Pratap Sagar Dam. It is built on the Chambal River in Rajasthan. It is part of integrated scheme of development of river involving 4 projects, starting with the Gandhi Sagar Dam in the upstream in Madhya Pradesh and Jawahar Sagar Dam in the downstream, with the terminal structure of Kota Barrage further in Rajasthan for irrigation.
In recent time, it is being seen that these multi-purpose projects like dams have created many problems. It leads to restriction of natural flow of river, which cause excessive sedimentation in the reservoirs, and poor sedimentation in the rest of the course of the river, which lead to poor condition for aquatic life. It also caused the rockier stream through which the flora and fauna dependent on the river ultimately dies. In floodplains, these multi-purpose projects led to submerging of existing vegetations, which ultimately led to decay of soil and vegetation, as we have seen in the case of Tehri Dam and Sardar Sarovar Dam on Narmada River.
Multipurpose projects and large dams have also been the cause of many new environment movements, like the Narmada Bachao Andolan, Tihri Dam Andolan. Resistance to these projects has primarily been due to large scale displacement of local communities.
One of the major problems associated with the construction of dam is the displacement of local communities on the large scale. As we know that dam and reservoir are the large scale projects, so they need large amount of space. So the local community residing over that place need to be displaced. So these people face the brunt of this problem as they had to leave their livelihood and their traditional work places, their property, immovable property, and they ultimately suffer to the life of uncertainty as government at many times fail to provide them proper place after displacement.
Most of the objections to these projects arose due to their failure to achieve the very purpose for which they were built. The big dams have mostly been unsuccessful in controlling floods at the time of excessive rainfall. Even the release of water from dams during heavy rains aggravate the flood situation, like happened in Maharashtra and Gujarat in 2006. It was also observed that the multi-purpose projects induced earthquake, caused waterborne diseases and pests, and pollution resulting from excessive use of water.
Now, given the problem that these multi-purpose projects have, let us look towards alternative source of water management. The most important of which is water harvesting.
Rainwater harvesting. It is generally associated with capturing rainwater during rainy period, leading to conservation of water. It helps to reduce runoff waters which chokes the drain. Harvesting water helps to raise the underground water level as water penetrate inside the soil when we collect it. It can be used to supplement domestic needs and expansion of irrigation. Ultimately, rainwater harvesting is an efficient and viable method to conserve water.
In India, there were always existing an extraordinary tradition of water harvesting. People had in-depth knowledge of rainfall patterns and soil types, and they developed wide-ranging techniques to harvest rainwater, floodwater, groundwater with the information of local ecological conditions and their water needs.
In hills and mountains region, people built diversion channels like the Guls or Kuls of Western Himalaya for agriculture. In arid and semi-arid regions, agriculture fields were converted into rain-fed storage structures that allowed the water to stand and moisten the soil, like the Khadins in Jaisalmer and Jords in other part of Rajasthan. In the floodplains of Bengal, people developed inundation channels to irrigate their fields. In the semi-arid and arid regions of Rajasthan, particularly in Bikaner, Palodi, and Barmer, almost all houses traditionally had underground tankas or tanks for storing drinking water. The rainwater can be stored in the tankas till the next rainfall, making it an extremely reliable source of drinking water. Rooftop rainwater harvesting is the most common practice in Shillong, Meghalaya. Even though this is one of the highest rainfall receiving area, yet face water shortage. This provide nearly 15 to 20% of total water requirement of households of this region. In Kendathur, a remote village in Karnataka, villagers have installed in their rooftop rainwater harvesting system. Similar system can be seen very commonly in towns and villages of Thar region.
Conserving water through water harvesting. As we see in various methods of rainwater harvesting in different regions or by minimum and optimum use of water. It is our responsibility. It is responsibility of each and everyone in whichever region we are living. We have to come together in this quest to save water. Then only we can ensure safe availability of this most indispensable resources to our life, that is water. हम सबको इस दिशा में मिलके काम करना है. अगर हम आज पानी बचाने की दिशा में काम करेंगे तभी हम एक बेहतर फ्यूचर का सपना देख सकते हैं. आप सब लोगों ने सुना ही होगा, जल है तो कल है. You people need to find out more about the bamboo dip irrigation system and the compulsory act of rooftop water harvesting in Tamil Nadu from your NCERT textbooks. All the very best.
Now let us look towards some important questions that can be asked from this chapter. First, some MCQs. Now the question is, during whose region were the dams, lakes and irrigation systems built extensively? You will find in this chapter there are examples given from the history that India had a very rich tradition of this water management system. So the answer to this question is Chandragupta Maurya. We found evidences from the reign of Chandragupta Maurya about many hydro projects. One of the famous lake from his time was Sudarshan Lake. Next is, what were gulls? As we have seen, gulls are basically diversion channels being made in the hill regions of North India. So answer is the diversion channels. The next question is, how much of Earth's surface is covered with water? As we discussed in the beginning of the chapter, you must have learned this in the 7th class only. So you answer this question yourself. How much of the Earth's surface is covered with water? The next question is similar. Now the question is, the Earth is occupied mostly with water, yet fresh water resources are only. So you all know that out of all water, only 2.5% of the water is fresh water. Next is, which options are true for dams? They check the sedimentation flow in river. Dams have helped provide ample water for agriculture. Dams have solved problem of drought in central India. Or dams have helped in power generation. Answer to this question should be that all of these options are true. Dams help us in all these things which are being mentioned here. Due to some technical problem, the option B is being shown correct here, but all these options are correct. Here are some more questions. How much percent of total volume of world water is estimated to exist in ocean? We all know that around 96, 97%, 96.5 to be precise, percent of world's water is estimated to be existed in oceans. Next is, what is the share of hydroelectric power in total production of electricity in India? We have discussed this in our chapter, and we all know that nearly 22% of the total power produced is being produced by hydroelectric power projects. Next thing is, we need more and more water, obviously more and more water for growing food through agriculture, as water is required in irrigation. When we supply proper water for irrigation, then only we can expect our crops to do well. Question 10. Which among the following regions of India experience low rainfall and is drought proof? Rajasthan, Gujarat, Bihar, Telangana. Out of all these four options we know that Rajasthan receive minimum rainfall among these four. So we'll take here the Rajasthan as correct option. Question number 11. Apart from flood controls and irrigation, what are the other uses of multi-purpose projects? And the options are recreation, fish breeding, internal navigation, or all of these. As we know that multi-purpose projects helps in all these options, so we'll take all of these as a correct answer. Next is, which place in India has an artificial lake to conserve water that date back to 11th century? You'll find this in NCERT, and the correct answer is Bhopal. Question number 13. Who among the following proclaimed the dam as the temple of modern India? We all know, we have read in this chapter that Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of independent India, is the one who proclaimed the dam as the temples of modern India. Question number 14. Which of the following place gets the highest rainfall in the world? Options are Mainsaram, Aizwal, Shillong, Cherrapunji. So the option A is the correct option. Mainsaram is the place which gets the highest rainfall in the world. Question number 15. The Hirakud Dam is built on which of the following river? We discussed this when we discussed our map. This particular dam is built on Mahanadi River in Odisha state of India. A tank for storing water that was 6.1 meter deep, 4.27 meter long, and 2.44 meter wide is found in there the option of 4 places: Jaisalmer, Palodi, Alwar, Chittorgarh. So the option B is the correct answer for this particular question. Question number 17. Which of the following remote backward village in Mysore, Karnataka installed household rooftop rainwater harvesting system? The options are Gendathur, Vansathalipuram, Chilakuda, or Kalihali. We all know that option is option A. Gendathur is the village which has installed these household rooftop rainwater harvesting system. Question number 18. Name the state where almost all houses traditionally had tankas. Rajasthan is that particular state where all the houses traditionally used to have these tankas. Question number 19. Which one of the following statement is not an argument in the favor of multi-purpose projects? मतलब against the multi-purpose river projects. Option A, multipurpose projects bring water to those areas which suffer from water scarcity. Multipurpose project by regulating water flow help to control floods. Multipurpose project lead to large scale displacement and loss of livelihood. Multipurpose project generate electricity for our industries and our homes. So it is clearly visible that option C, which is multipurpose projects lead to a large scale displacement and loss of livelihood, is against these projects. So our correct option is option C. The last question is, what is India's rank in the global precipitation in terms of water availability per person per annum? Answer is India hold 133 ranks in the global precipitation in terms of water available per person per annum. Now let's see some 3-mark question which were being earlier asked in the CBSE board exams. First question is, mention any 4 main objective of multi-purpose river valley projects. Name any 2 multi-purpose projects of India. It is not so difficult, as we have discussed many multi-purpose river valley projects. You can name them and you can write main objectives which we have clearly discussed in our chapter. Next is, water scarcity in most cases is caused by overexploitation, excessive use and unequal access to water among different social groups. Explain the meaning of the statement with the help of examples. In the starting segment of the chapter, we discussed this under the qualitative factors of water scarcity. So go through your textbook and see this video lecture, that particular segment, in order to find out answer to this particular question. This was asked in CBSE 2015 board examination. Question number 3. Explain the working of underground tanks as a part of rooftop water harvesting system practiced in Rajasthan. In our NCERT textbook, this mechanism is very clearly defined. How do people channelize the rooftop water to their underground tanks and use it as a freshwater resource very reliably, particularly in Rajasthan? This is very important question being asked in CBSE multiple times. Next is, list any 3 advantage and 3 disadvantage of multi-purpose river project. Or what are the advantage and disadvantage of multi-purpose river projects? This question also being asked in CBSE multiple times in some way or the other. So we have discussed these advantage as well as disadvantage in detail. So please find your answer from the lecture, as well as you can see these discussion in your NCERT textbook very easily. In terms of long answer type question being asked from this chapter, one is, why is rooftop rainwater harvesting system important in Rajasthan? Explain. This is very obvious, as we have discussed the case of Rajasthan, that it received very low rainfall, so harvesting water became very important. So you can include the examples of Johars and the example of underground tank in this, and substantiate your answer with some concrete example by naming the cities of Rajasthan. I hope you will find these exercises not so difficult after reading and watching this video lecture. This is one of the easiest topic in our book in 10th class. I hope you'll prepare it well. All the best.